Welcome to Catharsis Hotline. I am Kwonyin, your emotional constipation expert. And today I am actually going to be in the hot seat. So I am just actually coming out of a 7-day meditation retreat, a Buddhist meditation retreat, and I was unable to stay for the 7 days. I was basically upon arrival and leading up to, like, from the orientation into the second day, I realized, oh my God, what did I get myself into? The teachings there started to really, really disturb me with what was going on there. So I'm going to be sharing some things that came up for me pertaining to emotional repression and just let it rip, which is one of my mantras for this new year of 2025. Letting it rip. I'm still kind of processing what's happened there, but there was just some really illuminating things about the things that was being broadcasted there, just as a reflection of just our society in general, and how much it's like blatantly being taught to disassociate from your emotions. How, in this practice of meditating and, my intention to dive deeper into myself and to gain deeper truths and to open up the feeling body, how at this particular place that was not welcome. They're actively kind of teaching the opposite. And I just found it very disturbing how, how with self-inquiry work and with meditation as a really powerful tool for self-inquiry and self-awareness, how the emotional component is completely, blatantly being told to be left out. Like the monks is deliberately instructing the group that if, some sadness comes or if fear comes up, it's like someone knocking on the door, but just let yourself be relaxed in the room and just let them knock on the door, but ignore it. And it'll keep knocking, but eventually they'll get tired, and just let them fade. Just let them fade from your mind and just stay relaxed and don't pay attention to that. And, I was just so shocked to hear that, because this is really the opposite of integration. There's no way to actually, truly, deeply feel at peace and relaxed until you understand what's going on in your mind and what's coming up, and the understanding that comes from unpacking this, the content of the things that are knocking at your door. And on top of this, there were just other really kind of disturbing instructions to just keep smiling, like smile, be content with whatever's happening, be happy. And while, of course, there is nothing wrong with that at face value. You know, of course, we're wanting of contentment and wanting to be happy and content. But when it feels like, you know, this is the aim, and that like no matter what's going on, you should keep a smile on your face and be happy, you know, this is completely the very same things of like the world of bypassing what's really going on and, you know, just covering it over with positivity, which is not really the reality. Like you can't cover over what's you're really feeling in the moment with a happy face and just to try to tell yourself to be happy. You know, this is what's that's resistance, when you're actively denying and rejecting, ignoring, and avoiding what's really present for you, the real emotions that are present for you, and just plastering something over on top of it and trying to meditate to relax into the lie, you know? So I thought it was interesting for me as someone who's been really deeply like diving into the realm of emotions, and to always seek to understand what's happening when there is an emotional reaction, and to, you know, seek to unravel the truths and the needs that are contained inside the emotions, and then to find myself in the place where it is exactly kind of all of the conditioning and programming of the world that is actually, I really believe, keeping us in a very locked place, keeping us feeling trapped. And I know from myself and my journey with awakening to the importance of emotional alignment. And what I mean by emotional alignment is getting yourself on board to really see and hear and feel and validate what you're feeling, and to really see the value of the information that is held inside emotions, which was something that was completely unknown to me from the way that I was raised. And to be in the journey of really learning how important it is to pay attention to emotions, through experiencing what my life was to not pay attention to it, and how not paying attention to my emotions created so much disconnection, so much of a sense of like I don't even know myself, and finding myself in really painful situations, and not knowing how to care for myself, truly not knowing how to be on my own side, because as long as I'm not paying attention to my emotions and listening to them and seeing what they're trying to tell me, and giving me then that insight and awareness to know then what to do according to the truths that I uncover inside the emotions, then I would just keep running into really painful situations that I felt so stuck in. So, so, so this is, I feel, really, you know, important like one of the most important aspects of living a life of true alignment with the self is to honor your emotions and see your emotions as something so important and valuable and um, and something that is really here to help you. Like your emotions are on your side. Like your emotions are here to help you understand your personal truth, to for you to really know yourself. And so it was so disturbing to come to a meditation retreat with the intention of, meditation as a tool for self-awareness, and to have emotions being completely not part of the conversation. It just completely blew my mind how much ignorance there is, and fear of emotions. And I'm just so grateful for my teacher, who has really been such a game changer in like showing and giving language to the primacy and the importance of emotions. So I'm trained in the completion process, which is a process created by Teal Swan, who's my teacher. And since following this path of emotional alignment, I just see how much of my life I have lived fearing emotions. So I understand where a lot of people, where they're at with this, because I was also there with thinking that I could just think my way out of something that felt unpleasant or uncomfortable. But I know that what that leads to is really, really not a good place, because there's only so much you could do to repress and reject and ignore before it catches up and builds up. And so we're at a place now where in the world there's just so much, I feel, that's been repressed for lifetimes and lifetimes and generations. And I feel like we're at a very increasingly critical place where it is dire for us to address the shadow and address the things that have been suppressed. And it requires changing our attitude towards emotions. And rather than seeing it as something that's sabotaging you or taking you away from your happiness, but that they're really there to help you come into alignment with yourself. Help you come into alignment with your core true self. Not the self that you were conditioned to be. And it's a hell of a process, because it means that You'll have to feel things deeply. But it's so worth it because when you allow yourself to do this, this is freedom. And the feeling like you can know yourself. Because whenever you let yourself feel things through, the fear dissipates. And the powerlessness that you felt by constantly needing to distract yourself and avoid and run away, you no longer have to do that. You can really be here now. I'm gonna take a couple moments. You wanna breathe with me? Getting really warm. Getting hot, letting it rip. Really, it is the most self-loving thing to turn towards your rejected self, to turn towards your emotional self, the emotions you've rejected. Because it's that very presence and care, and understanding, and listening and feeling and attuning to the self you've rejected that creates actual peace in your body and your mind. You know, as the monk was saying, like when something comes to your door, just let it knock and let it get tired and then let it go fade away. Just let it leave. And I feel like it is really like that is the definition of self-hate. When you turn away from something that is coming to you, needing help, needing care. To love yourself is to open that door to what is knocking and to be curious and to inquire, like, who are you? What is it that you're wanting me to know? Come in. Like, I want to know who you are because you're a part of me, because you're knocking, because I'm aware that there's a reason why you're here. And no, I'm not gonna just ignore you. The thing is that whatever's knocking on your door, you know, that shadow part of you, that recurrent thought, the thing that you feel like you can't get over, that just keeps coming back and keeps coming back, it will keep coming back. There is no fade away. They will not actually fade away. Although you may try to numb yourself and try to pretend you're not hearing it, but that's resistance. It will come back because it is desperate for your love. It is desperate to be seen, to be heard, to be cared for. And I know there's a good reason why so many of us feel powerless when the thing comes knocking, and powerless so we just kind of try to tune it out and like distract ourselves and try to do whatever we can to not hear it, to pretend it's not there. And it's because we don't know what to do with it, because no one was there for you when you needed that help, when you were the one that was knocking. And I'm saying this as a metaphor for early into, in the beginning stages of our life, when you're a baby, newborn, when you're a child, all of the things that how you relate now to these like emotions and disturbing aspects of yourself and the things you reject about yourself, it all comes back to how you were treated as a child. And that now how you were treated is now how you treat yourself when you're in distress. And this is the pattern that is really asking to be healed. If you really want to heal yourself on a deep level, it requires looking at this pattern right here of how the self is turning against some part of you. And this is the inner war, where no matter what you do to try to make yourself feel better and be at peace and smile and be happy and just meditate to ignore, it will never work. It will never work. Because that other part of you that's being ignored will just keep getting louder and knocking louder. And it will keep showing up because it's trying to teach you how to love, how to truly love. And to be whole within yourself. That you are not just one part, you are both. And your life and the quality of your life is about this fundamental relationship you carry within yourself. Your self-love is the fundamental relationship in your life. And what your attitude is towards your rejected emotions, your rejected self, is the determinant of whether you are truly actually can be a happy person. Not just on the outside, but on the inside and outside. Because as long as there's a part of you that feels like it's getting dismissed, ignored, bypassed, you cannot truly be content. You can only pretend to be content. It's a fake facade. And that's what got me boiling mad at this meditation retreat that was preaching contentment and relaxation. And doing so in a way that is actually very violent to the self. Which is trippy because it doesn't look violent on the outside. It looks like on the outside, it looks like such a beautiful, serene surroundings and things spoken in a gentle voice. But that was what was really scary and creepy about it. You know, yeah, kind of felt like just I thought of that scene in that movie American Psycho with Christian Bale when he's like murdering someone in broad daylight and just doing all these things like carrying the body out on the street, and but it's like no one even notices. It's all happening in broad daylight. But it's just so normalized in our world to think emotional bypassing is okay. And almost like the better you are at disassociating from a part of yourself and like literally murdering parts of yourself, like keeping them locked up like Bluebeard in a closet, it's like the more successful you are, but it's completely scary and psychotic. So this is the world that I grew up in. A lot of people grew up in the world where emotions just have no place. But to keep going along that way is a path of like really, really scary self-annihilation and loneliness. And even those emotions that come up, I'm just realizing how still yourself, your being, is always for you. This is why, because as you keep living out of alignment with how you feel and what your emotions are trying to tell you, it doesn't feel good. And those not feeling good feelings is there because it's trying to wake you up. So if you ignore it, it's just going to keep accumulating. So your emotions are so for you that they're never going to leave you alone. They will always be trying to wake you up into alignment. And if you can shift yourself to care about how you feel, listen, see, feel into, and see that there's value and information inside your emotions that will help you. And there'll be instructions in the emotions that you unravel it, and insights that will help you and connect you more to your true self. Then this is how you can more and more and more feel empowered. Empowered through a deeper connection to yourself. and more empowered to not be controlled by what other people are saying, what other people are expecting, or being controlled by the intellect, or rationalizing things and getting so confused and mixed up. If you feel confused and mixed up and unsure of what to do when you're feeling stuck, go to your emotions. Feel into, tune into your emotions to see what truths are there. That's how you align to your North Star. They are your compass. So that was my being in the hot seat today, getting hot on emotions for today's Catharsis Hotline. Happy New Year 2025. This is the year to let it rip, to really align with your North Star. And aligning with your North Star is aligning with your emotions and owning your rejected self, owning your rejected emotions. So I guide catharsis. I guide catharsis and completion process, which is a trauma resolution healing modality created by Teal Swan. And I am a certified practitioner. You can find me on at kwonyin, KWONYIN.global. I offer 30-minute free discovery calls where we can connect and support you to really dive deeper into integrating your rejected self and helping you to align with your emotional body, to process and release things that have been holding you back, healing core wounds, going to the origin of where these blocks in your current state originated. And yeah, just really doing deep, powerful work this year. There's a lot of energy, a lot of momentum I feel building for this year. There's a lot of catalyzing energy I'm sensing, and a lot of potential for expansion, an expansion that comes from inner alignment. So thanks for tuning in. I'll have the links to connect with me below this video. Okay, toodaloo.